How to become a successful business owner. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm going to give you 8 specific steps on how to do it. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. All right, so congratulations on deciding, yeah, I want to become a business owner. Right on, good for you. So I literally started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I have built them, bought them, sold them, and wrecked 1 or 2. But for the most part, the record's been pretty solid. And I've had the good fortune to work with people all over the world, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of different companies. And here are 8 specific steps that are going to help you to really go through it so that you become that successful business owner. The first one is one that very few people actually take the time to consider and think about, but is to start with the end in mind. And what I mean by this is often people go and buy a business and then they try and make their life fit in and around the business. So sometimes they leave a miserable job where they're not happy and then they go buy a business where they're still not happy. So what I would encourage is start to define what does amazing look like for your life as a whole, and then figure out from there what is the business that you'd like to have and how does that business incorporate into your life, not how do you incorporate your life into your business. And a tool that you can do is you can go to our website at aspiringsolopreneur.com, and we've got a free tool there, it doesn't cost anything, called the balance wheel. You can go through about halfway down, take the assessment. It takes about 7 minutes and it'll give you immediate results. It'll print them out, but it'll give you an idea of where you have strengths in your life and where you have opportunities. And then based on that, you can start to visualize what would an amazing life look like on a holistic level. And once you have that, then that's the first step in defining how I can really become that successful business owner, because then you can figure out what business is going to fit with that. The next 3 are fairly common, are fairly similar, but when you decide I want to become a business owner, you basically have 3 options. You can build it, you can buy it, or you can franchise it. So when you talk about build it, and we've got a lot of videos on this channel that talk about how to successfully build a business, and that's what this whole book and course is about, is how can you go through and very safely and easily transition to build that dream business, that business that you want that incorporates into your life on that integrated level so that you're really thriving and you're that successful business owner. So with this, I'm not going to go through that now, but there's a whole bunch of different steps and a lot of different videos that help you learn how to very, very safely, so that it's a no-brainer, decide that this is what I want to do. Now in other cases, sometimes people want to buy businesses. I've bought businesses. I was a broker. I helped people buy and sell businesses for years. It could be a great option. And people say, well, I don't really have a lot of money. Well, you don't always necessarily need a lot of money. Sometimes the motivations on why people sell businesses, actually money is probably the 3rd or 4th motivation. Usually it's an opportunity cost, or it's burnout, or it's other things. So finding out what the motivations are. Sometimes you can buy a business without a lot of money. Now with this, it's still important to define what it is that I want, how do I want this business to incorporate into my life? And likely if you're buying a smaller business, you're more likely buying a job and need to look at it from that perspective. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to look at it from a financing standpoint, and as well as how much the value is, how much time, energy, all those things you're looking to put into it. High level, you're going to want to understand what it is, how much time and energy is this person putting into their job. If they're working 80 hours a week and they're only making 60 grand a year, well, you factor in the costs, there may not be a lot of value in that business and it might not be that successful. Now, if somebody's only working 20 hours a week and they're making a couple $100 grand, could be a decent little business, and that may be able for you to figure out how we can work into it. You can also go through the same exact exercises that we've talked about in how to build your businesses and say, well, what are the skill sets that you have to offer, whether it be through business or professional that you've already done, or maybe it's areas of hobbies that you love and you happen to be an expert, and you can incorporate that into the business, and maybe the synergies with that, with buying the business, you're going to do a lot better. But there's a whole bunch of different aspects of looking at how you build that business when you buy it. So one is you build it, second is you potentially buy one, and the third is going a franchise option. And franchises are in essence where you're going in and It's kind of between buying an existing business and starting a business. You're going to be starting it. There's usually some reasonable fees associated with it. But in the ideal franchise, and not all franchises are the same, trust me, there's a lot of really bad franchises. But ideally, a solid franchise is going to say, look, we're going to help you find the ideal location. We're going to make sure that we have buying power for whatever the materials are that you're going to use in a different way. We're going to help you with your marketing. We're going to have all these components so that the likelihood of you having success is much, much higher than if you started it from scratch. But because you're buying and that somebody else has already gone through all those hoops. It should make it easier. Doesn't always. You have to do your homework, and there's other videos that we talk about this. But making sure you're clear on what that looks like. But again, making sure, does this incorporate with the life that I want to have, starting with that end in mind. So first, we start with the end in mind, and then you explore, do I want to build it? Do I want to buy it? Or do I want to franchise? Great, you go through those. And then once you start having this, and once you choose in that direction, the next step, if you really want to make sure you're a successful business owner, is refining the vision. Refining the vision of where you want to be for the business in the future. Because assuming that you have employees, or even for yourself, most businesses, and I've worked with hundreds, tend to react through life. They react, oh, we could do this. Oh, this was an opportunity. Oh, we chose to go here. Oh, this happened to fall along. But rarely do people say, no, this is the vision I want. This is where I want to go. I want to drive to this. And when you can do that, and it's a common, simplified, clear vision, it's going to make the decisions and the way you drive to it much better, and your likelihood of success goes up exponentially. In the same respect, when you have that and you have a clear vision, and you can get others in your team understanding it, and they buy into that vision, well, now they're starting to say, okay, great. Once we do this, you know where you're going. The next step then is to make sure you surround yourself with great people. People who understand and buy into the values of who you are in the company, but also really understand that vision. It's really cool. It's like, yeah, I want to go there. And they're crystal clear on how they're contributing to the success and how you're going to achieve that vision. This could be anything from an AI company to a lawn mowing company. You can find those people who buy into what we're doing and where we're going. If you only have people who are just collecting a paycheck, they aren't going to be nearly as engaged. But I've seen this in blue collar all the way up to high tech, where if you clarify the vision, people will buy into it. All right, the next step is, once you start to do that, is when it comes to actually working with your individuals, or when you're providing your product or service, over-deliver. Do an amazing job. Don't half-ass it. This is the kind of thing that when you do an exceptional job, that kind of news travels. It'll attract more people, and it'll attract the right people to you. It allows you to end up to charge more and more money. But as you do that, and as you over-deliver, you're building your reputation. And lastly, it's so silly, but don't forget, have fun with this. If you're not having fun, I've known people who make literally $100 million a year, and they're miserable bastards. I would argue that they're not that successful. If you're having fun and you like what you're doing, those are some of the key components of making sure that you become a successful business owner. So again, the 8 steps, start with that end in mind. Once you do that, decide, am I going to build it? Am I going to buy it? Or am I going to franchise it? Once you define that, make sure you refine and clarify your vision so you know where you're going and what amazing looks like. Surround yourself with great people. Over-deliver on everything you do, and always remember to have fun. So ideally, you found some value in this. If you have questions, you're interested in our course, please check out aspiringsolopreneur.com. It's got videos, self-paced, whole 9 yards. Subscribe, check out some of the other videos on the channel. If you have questions, please let us know. Thank you so very much for investing the time and energy. Keep smiling.